it's a different man. He's not the same man. He's not the same man because of his experience. He looks the same. He's the same color. Has eyes, ears, and everything like anyone else, but his experience is not the same. You see, I've been to the zoo. A lion in the zoo is different from a lion in the wild. A lion, an elephant in the zoo is different from an elephant in the wild. They look the same, but he doesn't behave the same. I was in Africa and I watched the elephants out there, and they're in their natural habitat, and their mind hasn't been disturbed by captivity. Now you take an elephant whose mind has been disturbed by captivity and release him back into the wild, he can't survive because his mental capacity. The black man in America and anyone who has experienced slavery has a traumatized experience that goes from generation to generation, and releasing us back into freedom didn't help us because you were captured and then put back, and so mentally you're not prepared to operate without some level of dependency unless that is taken out of you. So this problem that we have from generation to generation with black men is simply because we were captured and released, which creates a dependency on your person to live, to survive, to walk, to do everything. That's why most of us in this country are still on the system. I watched this when I went to Africa. People have less money, have less opportunity, but have more. Why? Because psychologically, even though they don't have all of the physical things to do with psychological, now if the African had over here the opportunity that we have, he would excel. Watch. I can take a man from Africa and other countries and bring him over here who's never been in captivity. He coming in your homeland where you call your homeland and survive much better than you because psychologically he's built different because he's never been captured and released. So now I got to help you get rid of a mentality of dependency. That's why we have the problem that we have. People always talking about, and I hear Americans talking about the black man, this is the black man. It ain't the black man, it's the black man that you disturbed from his natural habitat. And now you got a black man that can't depend on, that's dependent upon your system that you created. They complain about black people on welfare and everything else. You created that. You don't get no lion. Now look how much sense they got. They won't take a lion out of the zoo and throw him back in the wild. They care enough for that lion to take care of that lion the rest of his life because they know that he disturbed his habitat and they got to take care of him in the zoo. But you took a whole man and brought him over here, and now you don't want to help him. You go take care of yourself. Nigga, go and do what you're supposed to do. You brought us over here. Stripped us of our natural instinct to hunt for ourselves. Now you don't want to hunt and give us the food. You say, well, that's been 100 years ago. Yeah, but the mentality doesn't change because everything that we've had been raised under that same mental capacity. So the only thing for us is not opportunity, not money, mindset. You follow me? Mindset. No, it ain't money because you can get lawsuits and money everywhere else and still blow it. They give you apartments to stay in and still mess it up. So it's not that. They're trying to give money, but you need mindset. So now you gotta give an individual an uncaptured mind. So this is what I'm talking about, management. Are y'all with me? Is it making any sense? So what is man? Let's go to this first. What is man, all right? First of all, let's define. We need to define. Now, Quinn, I hope you can read good because I'm going to be hard tonight if you can't. I have to switch it to somebody else. I need a good reader. All right, so let's get this. First, we must define what a man is. I think America redefines to us what a man is. This is the question that the angels ask God. They want to know what a man is. So let me ask you a few questions. What is a man? What is a man? Tell me what a man is. Anybody can tell me what a man is? Your definition. Let's see if the definition is right. What is a man? Anybody? Huh? Uh-huh. Well, okay. No. All right. Anybody else? Man that manages his home. So. Okay. Okay. Elephants, zebras, monkeys, they don't go to school, they don't go to college. They don't work for nobody, but they can take care of themselves. They're just born. You got to go to school, get trained, get all of that to know how to do something. They're just born. It's in their instinct. They just born. They just do it. That's really what's supposed to be about man. When God created man, he left him in the garden and left. Left him. He ain't taking him to school, no trade school, no nothing. It was in him to do what he needed to do. And if you don't have that in you to do what you need to do, you've been stripped of your manhood if you can't do it on your own. If you don't have that instinct to do it. If your wife got to push you to do it. Your pastor got to push you to do it. Y'all follow me? Well, you're talking heaven now. I want you to check this out. Go to the book of Genesis chapter 1 and 26 so we can get our definition right. 1 and 26. Go to Psalms 8 and 4. Get Psalms 8 and 4. All right, Psalms 8 and 4. All right, read Psalms 8 and 4.
What is man?
What is what?
Man. That thou art mindful
So
of
there's
him.
a question. What is man? First of all, let's distinguish the difference. Genesis 1 and 26. Read Genesis 1 and 26, what it says.
And God said, let us make man in our image.
God said, let us make what?
Man.
Man in our what?
Image.
So God has the man that he made. Let him. Come on, read.
Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion. Over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
So man has responsibility. There's a difference between male and man. Now, when you go down to the book of Genesis chapter 1 and 18, Genesis chapter 5 and 1, this is the book of the generation of Adam and the day that God created man, and the likeness of God created him, male and female created he them. So you got man, but then you got male. Male and man are different. You may be created as a male, that deals with your gender. But the man deals with your responsibility. You're not a man because you're born with a penis. That's a male. But you're a man when you reach maturity to be able to survive on your own and take care of your own self without anybody. So the male deals with the gender, but the man deals with the responsibility. That's why you got many males that are not men. Because you grow out, you develop from being a male to being a man. Now, you'll know if that male is a man by the instincts of him. I told you earlier, a monkey is going to learn how to take care of itself. Nobody got to teach it. A goat anything you put in the wild, it can survive without a job. Now, I'm not telling you to be jobless, but it finds what it needs to do to survive. If you do not know how to survive what you need to do for you to survive, you don't have the man instinct, even though you have a male part. So we'll know if you're a man or not by what you do when you ain't got no other way. What you gonna do for yourself? Are you gonna find a way to take care of your house? Are you gonna find a way to make it? That's where we find out if the man instincts is in the male. Well, you see, when you become a slave, they take that out of you. So many black males had the man taken out of them because you've been belittled. Now, if you got a woman that comes behind that, she belittle you. The slave master done already took the man out. You marry this dominant woman, she take it out. Your mama was dominant, she take it out. Now, all the man been taken out of the male. You follow me? That makes sense? So, a man, he has his own dwelling. He can handle his own responsibility. He can handle a wife. He can handle children. He can handle a household, maintain a healthy relationship. He can handle himself. That's man. Now, I got to start finding out how much of a man am I by going over that list. I don't get upset if you don't see it, because it was taken out of us. So somebody had to put that back in us and instill the man in us that America took out. Ain't no other person like the black male in America. They haven't connected the link between what you done to us. I've been to Africa. I've been to Haiti. I've been to Bahamas. And all of those are countries, of course, where some of them was the slave. But Africa has a different mindset. That's a different mindset. So these things, his own dwelling, his own. And let's look at this. Y'all with me? Go to the next slide. Go to the book of Genesis chapter 1. And y'all follow me? Yes, sir. 1 and 28. Genesis 1 and 28. Let's go to the next slide. 1 and 28. What it says.
And God blessed them.
God blessed them.
And said.
See, this is the blessing. This is the man's blessing. The blessing of the man, you see, the blessing of the man is what God said. And this was instilled in him when God said this.
And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply.
Be fruitful. This is what God is putting in him. So this that God is speaking is saying, be fruitful. And what does it mean to be fruitful? To be able now to be productive. Fruitful is not just talking about sexual, because notice something. He said, be fruitful and multiply. Multiplication was the sex. We all often think fruitful is, no, be fruitful, multiply was having more. But fruitful is being successful. Be successful, be fruitful, take seeds, and you take the seed and grow them. Everybody that's multiplying is not fruitful. Because if you're multiplying and not fruitful, when you multiply, you can't take care of it. So when he said be fruitful, where did he put him? In a garden. So to be fruitful means I want you to have the food to feed what you multiply. So it's twofold. Don't just multiply, be fruitful, because they got to eat. So if you multiplying but you ain't being fruitful, now you got a family that you ain't feeding. So be fruitful means grow a garden. Be fruitful means get some oranges, get some mangoes, because if you're fruitful and if you're multiplying and not fruitful, now you got hungry children. So I want you fruitful and multiplying at the same time. And notice what he says. Be what?
Fruitful. And multiply.
Not multiply and be fruitful. I want you to be fruitful first. I want you to have some food before they get here. I want you to have them if you ain't fruitful. Because if you're multiplying and ain't fruitful, you can't feed them. Y'all with me? Y'all with me? Be fruitful, get the garden, bring it up, get some fruit, then multiply. Because you got a lot of people multiplying, but they ain't fruitful. And now the system got to take care of your children. Because you multiplying, but you ain't fruitful. So I need you to get some fruit before you multiply. That makes sense? Come on now. Y'all here with me? Yes,
sir.
I hope it makes some sense. Where are the men? Many men have problems with being a man because they were not exposed to men at a young age. God created man in his image. So we get a lot of whip down, a lot of beat down as men in the church, in the world. But is anybody offering a cure? You see this behavior, but anybody dealing with the source of it or where it's come from? The average one of us in here today has never seen a free male. We never lived around a free male. Because your parents have always had to hog and work and slave around somebody. See, a free male ain't got to depend upon somebody else to take care of him. He can get his own business. So even though we make a little money and they say we're free, are you really free? You ain't free. That white guy, they see a lot of free males. They got their own business. They got their own land. They got their own that. So you ain't no free male until you can tell. So most of us ain't bound around no free male because you see your daddy and your mama go to work every day and come back home. Your daddy working a job. Let me get out here and get this job. He can't stay home when he wants to say, I got my business, it'll take care. So you ain't never seen a free male. The image that you got is always a working man. It's working almost 16 hours a day for somebody else. And if you're working for somebody else, you're still a slave. But white people in America, most of them, and more than us, they got free people. So what you think their son's going to want to be? They're going to be made in the image of what they see. So they want to be free males because that's what they see in free males. We're bound males because that's what we see, bound males. Free. Oh, you think because somebody took some chains off of you and some chains off your feet, you free? You're not free. You're free to do what they need you to do to work. But them chains are still on you when you got to pay them all the money that you make. And it's even, in fact, it's even worse. Because what do? Time is money. The most corrupt thing that you ever seen is a $20, a $30, $50 bill. It's the most corrupt thing. And people say, why? Because that's time. See, money is time. It's not really, look. I work and all I get is a piece of paper. Psychologically. All I get is some paper. The paper ain't worth nothing. It ain't no more than this. What makes it worth something is a white man put ink on it and colored it and put his picture on it. That's what makes it worth something. And you think it's worth something, but it ain't nothing but paper. Same thing you writing on. Ain't no value to it. Ain't but one true currency, and it ain't money. But that's psychological. Now, let me show you how smart it is. This is better than slavery. Why? Because when I work, they give me a check, and the check say $500. Okay? So say I work 10 hours, and I get $50 an hour. So I get $50 an hour. What they going to give me? A piece of paper that say $50 an hour, and the paper ain't worth nothing. I take that paper and go to the bank and get more paper. And I think I'm something because I got some paper with some green on it now. But what I do, it ain't nothing but time. Because if I go down to the grocery store and buy 2 chickens, and the chickens cost me $50 for 2 chickens, that means my hour as a human ain't worth but 2 chickens. If I got 10 pieces of coin, my hour as a human ain't worth but 10 pieces of coin. And you think you're something because you got some money and don't know you've been trained to go now and turn your time sheet in to get some coin. And ain't telling you ain't worth nothing but 10 pieces of coin, or you ain't worth nothing but, you follow me? So the only way that you can really get value is what God gave man from the beginning. Animals, land, and fruit. Because that's what all money is for. Because all you're going to do is take the money and get that stuff that you could have in your own yard. I won't spend too much time on that. But we've never seen a free man. We never lived around a free man. I'll go back to that later. So what what does God do? A man. Genesis chapter 1 and 28, read.
And God blessed them.
God blessed them.
And God said unto them, Be fruitful.
Be fruitful.
And multiply.
Multiply.
And replenish the earth.
The man is able to be fruitful. He's able to be multiplied. This is the definition of a man. Read.
And replenish the earth.
Replenish the earth. Now, I don't want you to be able to just get money, but I want you to have the ability to replenish. So I can spend it and get it back. A man is able to residually get what he loses. I kill a cattle, I can get another one back. I eat some fruit, I can get more back. So being able to residually replenish. Because if we're going to live, if I don't need just a source, I need resources. See, sources, you spend out of them, but resource means you do it again. So I don't just need sources, I need resources. And resources mean to be able to just continue, get more fruit. So we're taught to have a source. See, we have a source, but our boss have the resource. And all they doing is giving us a source, and we got to go to them for our resource. You're not free until you're your own resource. See, anytime you get it from somebody else, they're your source. So you got to depend upon them as your source. But anytime you get it yourself, you're your resource. So they have the resources and have made you the source. You become, you follow me? That make any sense? And in essence is, we don't understand that you have the power because you are really their resource. But they train it as if they're your resource. Because the resources that they get is from your labor. So all they're doing is taking your labor, you giving it to them, and they're giving it back to you. But they discounted it from you. So you go to a store, you make $100 for that guy, and he makes $100 off your labor. Follow me? Take that $100 he made off your labor, deduct 90% and give you 10. Well, what is that money for? Is that your money? No. You're a slave. I got to take care. I got to make sure my slave eat. Got to make sure you have a good place to stay. That's just enough to take care of the slave, but not enough for you to get anything out of it because you're not getting nothing out of it. He's just making sure that you're in good condition. So rather than me taking care of you on my land, nigga, go take care of yourself on your land, but I'm going to give you enough to feed yourself. I'm going to give you enough to pay for your house. I'm going to give you enough to get a car to get back to work, but I won't deny it. I'm just giving you that. What you're getting is taking care money. Well, that's good because now the slave owner don't have to be responsible for you. You're responsible for yourself. Come on now. This ought to click in now. See, I'm pulling that slave mentality out of you. Pulling it out of you. You can't do it till you open your eyes. See what's really going on. Are y'all with me? So all you men that's in you, there'll come that urge sometime to say, I don't want to work for nobody else. I want to get my own business. See that urge that's in you? That's that man kicking in. Trying to kick in, but I ain't got opportunity. I ain't got resources. I ain't got the money, but it's kicking in. It's trying to, but the oppression in society smothers it. Y'all with me? So, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion over it. Dominion. Y'all with me? That's making sense? So all of these is the thing we need. Genesis 5:1, but what God is doing, 5:1, he's giving him an image, an example to go out. God said in Genesis 5:1, verse 1, he said, God said, let us make man in our own what? Image. When have you seen an image of a free man? I can't make it if I ain't got no image of it. You with me? Now, everybody talk bad about the drug dealer. I'm against him. I don't believe in him. I don't support him. Let's get that right now. But in the black neighborhood, he's one of the greatest entrepreneurs you ever want to see. Now, he's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong. Want to get it right. Because I never been out there talking about I'm promoting drugs. I ain't promoting drugs. Lock him up. Killing our kids. But you got to get a guy something. He said he ain't working for nobody else. We got our own customers over here in our neighborhood. We'll serve our customers. We'll make some money. The only thing about it is he's selling the wrong thing. How do you think so many of our young people are following him? Because they see a free man. He free. He get locked up every now and then, but he free to them. Because he ain't got to depend on nobody. He's on his own corner, selling his own stuff in his own neighborhood. So to them, that image is free. And what it is, that man in that black boy is kicking out saying, I don't want to work for nobody else. That's that man kicking out, but he ain't got no image but that guy. So his desire is trying to connect with the man. But he ain't got nobody else. A man in his neighborhood because everybody working for somebody. But he see this black man in his neighborhood that stay in his neighborhood, don't go anywhere, got a car, got a house, he don't go anywhere, and he's watched this other black man who goes slave-tied and barely making it. His manhood says, I want to be like that. Well, you ought not want to be selling that, but you ought to definitely want to be free. That ain't nothing else. When you went to selling drugs, whoever you are that's in here that ever sold drugs, even though you were selling dope, you felt free until that police came. So this is that conflict that we're having in our black community, is that manhood is kicking in for independence, but there's nowhere to have that independence. Now, if we provide businesses and jobs and things in our neighborhood, they'll have an alternative to be free. Y'all with me? Come on, saints. I want you to see how we're thinking and what's going on. Why are our black men drawn to drugs? It's freedom. And that guy would rather take his risk of being free on the street and get locked up, because guess what he say? Y'all locked up. I may be locked up over there, but y'all locked up out here. Now, you still paying rent to this guy after 40 years. It makes sense? I want to get this because I think even white people need to know the minds of the black folk. And black folk need to know the minds of the black folk. Know what's going on with the male. So, who is your image? God instructed man to be fruitful and multiply. So you got to have a production, multiplication, replenish, subdue, and dominion. Those are the 5 things. Now what I've got to do in these classes is now what America took out of us this year on these Tuesday night classes, I want to put in you. Got to put that instinct in you through teaching and working together. I got to put that in you. Now, Bible study is good, and we have Bible study, but I'm having man study. And we study the Bible to find out, but now we got to study man. What is man? Because we ain't learn it. We ain't get it. So let's get it back in. So those 5 things, what is it? Let's say it together. Production.
Multiply, replenish, subdue, dominion.
All right, that makes sense? Go to the next one. Now, I know a lot of people don't understand my vision and where I'm going. A lot of them don't understand it. A lot of them don't see it. And even here, and I thank you for your support. That wasn't the completion of my lesson. That wasn't the completion of my lesson. A lot of them don't see it. You know, we're building a big gym over there, grocery store in town, houses, interest-free, business everywhere. And see, a lot of folk think, well, why don't y'all just be in the church business? Why don't y'all just build church? No, so you don't understand the mindset. In order to recover the black man from his mentality, you got to have your own. Business is the cure for the slave mentality, for the damage that's been done. That's the cure. People say, well, all we got to do is wait on the Lord and pray and seek the Lord going to make a way. God going to pull us out of this. No. See, some things God don't want to pull you out of. Because if God pull you out of it, then you won't know how to do it. When God made that garden, he left man in that garden and left him and told him, and God left him naked. He was butt naked, didn't give him nothing. See, we pray for God to give us stuff, and God don't give you everything. God left Adam in there naked, and when Adam found out he was naked, he learned how to make an apron out of leaves. He did something. He's naked. He did something himself. Let me give you this so you can have this. In every man, it's been taken out of us. We got to get it. Some of our forefathers got it. In every man, it's supposed to be a survival instinct that doesn't depend on anybody or anything, knows his God, and knows the ability that God put in him. What God wanted to do when he left Adam, he wanted to test out the instinct that was in Adam. And in order to test that instinct in Adam, he had to give him nothing, absolutely nothing. God didn't even tell Adam how to have sex, but he told him be fruitful and multiply. Figure it out. There was no sex education class that say, hey, you're supposed to put this over there and put this there. Nobody told him nothing. Because what I want to see, I breathe something in you that produces an intelligence to do what needs to be done. I'm going to leave you naked, make you some clothes. Amen. I'm going to leave you with nothing. And to this day, God has never revisited the earth like he did in Genesis. Where does this kind of building come from? Where does a car come from? Where do these skyscrapers come from? Where do airplanes come from that you can fly? From God or what God put in man? Man say, hey, we want to go on the other side of the world and see what's over there. There's this instinct in us we're curious to see. Somebody say, make a boat. They get in there and drown. Oh, that didn't work. Don't let the fear of drowning get you. We lost 100 trying to get over there. Let's make another boat. And not only that, in him is that instinct to keep trying even when he failed. That can be taken out of you. Listen to me good. How many times you going to try to get over here to America or the other side of the world before you die? Yes, a whole lot of people die, but it didn't take that instinct of man that said, oh, we done lost too many people. Let's not go over there no more. That instinct is still in him. That's been taken. How many times you try to fly before you crash and say, I ain't trying that no more. Too many people done died. That's an instinct. That quitting mentality, when you try to do something and it failed, to give up. I ain't trying no more. I'm trying once, I'm stopping. That's got to be put back in us. How you get out? Let me tell you this. How did that get out of man? How did it get out of the black man in America? It was a beat out of you. It was whooped out of you, starved out of you. Amen. You know how you got to get it back in? Sometimes you got to beat it back in you. Not with a belt. This is a rod. Got to beat it back in you. Get it back in you until you get it. Now, how many of y'all realize that some of these things have happened to us through time? All right? That make any sense? All right. All of my lesson doesn't look like it is here. I guess they didn't, and it is. They didn't understand what I wanted. So I see it's on the board, but I'm going to give you a paper this week. It says fruitful and talks about production, multiplying. And we're going to do some note taking on all of these particular things to help us come to that place that the Lord will want us. I didn't want to hold you long, but what I want to do now, let me get a few questions. Let me get a few questions, a few comments, things that we want to. Now, this was the first place that we need to visit. Y'all with me? The first place that we need to visit was how did we get here and what's been taken out of us, to understand that we're not, many of us, not all of us, many of us are not completely the man, and that we've been stripped. It's not our own fault. It's been taken out. You know, if something has been taken out of you without you even knowing it, that's supposed to be in there. You know, you take a car. If somebody takes something out of the car that's supposed to be in the car, and nobody knows, you're not a mechanic, and you don't know that it's supposed to be in there, you driving the car fine and think it's good, don't know there's a luxury in there that's supposed to be in there that's not there. But it's been running fine for you because all you wanted to do is drive, didn't know it was supposed to go 95, it's going 55, and the 55 is better than the bicycle, so you're going 55. So, man, this is a good car. But ain't nobody tell you the car supposed to go 95. I watch black women say, oh, he's a good man. He take good care of his children. Is that a good man or just a man? Being a good man has become a luxury. What is a good man? He take care of his family. That's not a good man. That's a man. But when the normal becomes a luxury, what you're supposed to do by norm, now it's a luxury to have a man that take care of his family. Oh, he's a good man. He take good care of his children. Take good care of his family. Oh, he paid the bills. That's a good man? Why is that considered a good man and not just a man? There's another thing. There's another thing as a good man. Add something else that he's doing before you say he's a good man. Paying bills, taking care of your children, responsibility, making money. That ain't no good man. That's a man. A good man may be one that take care of the whole neighborhood bills. Y'all with me? And we all right with that. We all right with saying, oh, and guess what? That lowers the standard of what a man is in our society. All right? So you imagine me with one leg, two legs walking. So, ooh, boy, that's a good man. You see how he walk? I got two legs. Why I'm a good man? Because I got two legs. I'm walking like everybody else supposed to walk. Now, when I can run like Jesse Owens, then I'm a good man. But as long as I'm walking on two, I ain't done nothing special but walk. You ain't done nothing special because you took care of your children or paid bills. That makes sense. All right, Brother McMahon.
What you're saying,
yes,
is so true. See, I work at Publix, and they pay a selector for 53 minutes to select 2 pallets.
Put it up to your mouth.
They pay a selector 53 minutes to select 2 pallets. When those 2 pallets are done and set on the dock, that selector made roughly $29 an hour for selecting those 2 pallets. But Publix has made $10,000 to $12,000 out of that.
So y'all see the concept? And you may be out on the ground picking the fruit that they palleted or whatever it is the item is. So it's that opportunity. It's that opportunity. That was a very good comment. Yes.
when I was 14, I decided to sell drugs from 14 to 31 because in school they taught us to go to school to get a good job and go to college and all that kind of stuff. But I was doing it at the age of 14 on a block, just making my own money because it was, like I say, it was a freedom. I never really had a job till I came out of prison. I couldn't say if I had 10 jobs my whole life from 14 to 31. If I did go get a job, it was just because I done messed up my money gambling or something, doing something dumb with the money. But it was, like you say, it was a luxury because it was freedom,
Amen. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? All right. I'm grateful tonight. You can take us off. I'm grateful tonight for all of you that attended. I'm going to be getting some paperwork that shares.